Cue music. We're all about class when it comes to pens, and we like to let it show. Welcome to Fountain Pen Radio, presented by FPGeeks.com. And now for your fountain pen enthusiast hosts, here's Eric and Dan. Gentlemen.
This is Fountain Pen Geeks Podcast, episode number 23 for Tuesday, May 1st, 2012. We are recording live on Sunday, April 29th. Welcome to Fountain Pen Radio. This is Eric.
And this is Dan.
Dan, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing great. I see we have a guest this week. Who is that person?
We do. We have Mr. Brian Gray with us again. Brian, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I'm not sure I know Mr. Brian Gray.
Hey, how is everybody? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm not sure I know Mr. Brian Gray. Can somebody introduce him?
He just makes these pens that nobody really knows about.
Let's let Brian talk for a second. I don't know that he's coming in clearly. We may have to do the show with just, his mug here.
Testing 1, 2. Is my audio okay?
You're a little scratchy on my end. I don't know. What does the audience say? Get him out. Get the hook.
How's the Edison audio coming through? Is it all right?
I can hear you just fine.
2, testing 1, 2.
Yeah, we'll just... I think we're going to go with you. You can stay, Brian. You can stay.
Sounds good.
We forgot to do this last week, Dan, so we'll do it again this week.
Okay.
Fountain Pen Radio and FPGeeks Podcast are brought to you in part by Amazon.com. I did something interesting with Amazon this week that I had never done before.
What's that?
I returned an item.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to the Chicago Pen Show pretty soon here, and we're going to need a USB microphone while we're there. So I ordered one that was, getting good reviews. I did my research. It arrived a few days ago. As soon as I tried using it, I didn't like it at all. And I thought, well, now what am I going to do with this microphone? So I went to the website to see how they handle returns. Gosh, you just click on a few things, print a label, put it back in the box, put the label on top, and you're done.
They certainly make it easy, don't they?
Have you done that before?
I've never returned an item.
I was shocked.
Everything else on their website is easy to use.
Printed the label. Yes, I had to tape the label to the box. But yeah, and as soon as it was scanned at the post office, I got the credit on my account.
Nice.
I apologize. I was a little distracted there at the beginning. This is a return through Amazon?
Right. I don't know if you've...
I've done that before, too, and I was also very, very surprised. We bought a camera and decided to upgrade after it arrived, and basically I went to the Amazon site, clicked, a couple of buttons to initiate the return, sent it back, and it was taken care of very fast. In spite of the fact that it didn't come from Amazon Direct, it was one of their vendors. You know what I mean?
Oh no, see, I didn't have that. What I purchased was, well, it wasn't an Amazon product, but it did come direct from Amazon. So I was thinking maybe that's why it was so easy. But you're saying it was easy even with a different vendor.
Yes, this came from a vendor in New York City. I believe it was actually B&H, and essentially I clicked a button to initiate a return. They got an email. I had a little bit of paperwork that was emailed to me. I put a sticker on it, sent it off direct to the vendor in New York City, not to Amazon, and it was taken care of within probably 3 days. I was impressed too.
Because in my imagination, I thought, this is going to be so much work, I might as well just keep this microphone. So anyway, they've got the system down, right? So good for them. And Dan, you have yet to live through that, but believe me, you'll enjoy it if and when it ever happens. Before we do anything else, gentlemen, we have to jump into our mailbag because we got an important email from Brett. And if you'll let me read it, I will read it. But give me permission.
Yeah, Go ahead, please.
Please do.
Brett wrote, I very much enjoy your show and truly appreciate all the work that goes into an undertaking of your magnitude. But during each of the last 22 shows, the following things have been talked about, usually at length. Brian Gray, TWSBI, Micarta, 530, 540, 700, Edison pens, Ahab, the LA Pen Show, the Chicago Pen Show, Hatred for Clips, Love of Stubs, Brian Gray, Ahab, TWSBI, Greg Minuskin, Brian Gray. Love all the things above. Is there a way that a show can be done that doesn't mention any of the above listed items? So, Brian, I don't know how you got listed 3 times on this list, but apparently you're extremely popular.
You're just not going to be able to say a word.
4, that's true. 4 if you count Edison. Although sometimes we talk about Edison behind your back. So
that's okay.
That's the rule for this show today. We're not allowed to mention anything on that list.
Anything on that list? Not at all?
Nothing on that list can be mentioned now that I've read the list.
Seriously, the whole broadcast without anything.
Well, we're going to try.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let the show begin.
All right.
All right. Well, remember, don't write like Brian Gray.
Don't spill ink like Dan.
And don't waste paper like Eric.
Because,
that's the
the show, and I thank you all for listening.
See you guys.
I guess I can put my headphones down. Yeah. I'm just going to go to bed.
Well, have a beer first. You got plenty of time now.
That's true.
All right. Shall we talk about this list?
Good.
I don't think it's not possible to do a show without mentioning at least one thing on this list.
Well, we talk about fountain pen news. So if these things are in the news, we're going to talk about it.
Right. I mean, the Chicago Pen Show next week. How can we not? How can we have a show where we don't mention the Chicago Pen Show that we're going to this coming Thursday? I don't know how we could have Brian Gray on the show without mentioning his name.
Obviously, I think that our response is tongue-in-cheek. And I will say, I don't know who Brett is, but I'm not saying this to be spiteful or vindictive. Honestly, give us suggestions for topics. I think that everybody loves TWSBI, especially with all their new products coming out lately. I won't get into myself. Greg Manuskin, we've talked about a lot because we're big fans. So I think that a lot of times we just simply talk about what's in the news and also what we really love. So I don't know what else we talk about too. But again, Brett, I don't know who Brett is, and of course we keep that anonymous anyways. But send suggestions because we're always looking for topics. Especially I give a lot of credit to these guys. It would not be easy for me to put together a blog, and every week you guys have at least like 4 to 8 new articles and topics and good content aimed at fountain pen people. Any topic to be suggested would be welcome. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of all three of us. Any topic suggestions would be great, but we're just poking fun at Brett, I guess.
Yes.
With our
absolutely poking fun. And I appreciate the feedback, Brett. But seriously, there's no way to do a show without mentioning at least one of these items. And let me go on the record here. Dan, have I said I hate clips? Have I ever said that? Hate? I don't usually throw that word around very much. I don't.
No, I mean, I would like to hear the audio clip of that, but I'm going to have to say no. But I think many people know you're not a fan of most clips.
No, I'm not a fan, and I'm open about not being a fan of clips. But I don't think I ever said I hate them. In fact, we have found several that I actually like. Yeah. And I think case in point that it's difficult to put a show together without mentioning any of these is that Brett's own list has duplicates on it. Brian's on there 3 times, the Ahab's on there twice, TWSBI's on there 15,000 times.
Well, I'm just impressed that he actually listened to all 22 episodes to get the list.
Yes, that's the other point.
I didn't know you had 22 episodes. I thought, wow, he must be exaggerating, but apparently you guys do have 22 episodes.
This is episode number 23.
Awesome.
The other point to this is, yes, we did talk about all those things on many occasions, but we've talked about many other things too, haven't we? We haven't just talked about these things. Okay, we can probably move on from Brett now. What shall we talk about? Probably pen shows.
By the way, I will say something that I think is of importance. One thing that I will admit is that I am not a huge expert on vintage pens. We have a resident expert on vintage pens in our chat audience right now, Mr. Brian Anderson of AndersonPens.net, I believe. If I'm giving you the incorrect,
that is correct. AndersonPens.net.
Plug, yes. So Brian is in the chat. If we have any vintage questions, we have an expert here. So let's make sure that we utilize him while he's here. And thanks for participating, Brian.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's saying the pressure.
The pressure.
The pressure is on.
He showed up last week too, and I think we abused him. I don't remember exactly why, but
I couldn't participate last week, so I just thought I'd mention that Mr. Anderson is here, and I'm sure that you guys will, all three of us will see him in Chicago along with his lovely wife, Lisa, I'm sure. I doubt that they would miss the Chicago show.
They're not going to miss this. We already have dinner dates with them.
Oh, my gosh. Very good. Excellent.
So speaking of pen shows, just this past week was the UK Northern Pen Show. It was on April 22nd, and we actually had Stefan from Grandma Pens sent us a video they created, and they wrote up a little post about it too. We featured it at a website, so definitely stop by and check that out if you want to see pictures from that.
I looked at it as soon as you posted it, Dan.
Yeah, what do you think?
It certainly made. First of all, it certainly made me want to go to a pen show. Thankfully, Chicago's right around the corner, and secondly, it was fun to see Sarge. Sarge was at the show, so I saw a face that I knew. And thirdly, it looked like the cleanest pen show in the world, didn't it? I mean, I don't know. It seemed light and bright and airy, and I don't know what you thought.
Well, I've only been to a couple. It's not like Chicago and LA were dirty, but
no, I guess they weren't dirty, but the walls were brighter in this particular venue.
The revenue did.
The venue?
What the venue? Wow, revenue! I'm like selling things now. The venue did look amazing. I would love to go to any pen show across the pond. But so, what's the next one coming up after that? That would be
Nuremberg.
Yes, May 12th, and that show is sponsored by Kaweco.
Surprise, surprise! That's good.
That's very good. And at the end of the month, and going to June 3rd, is the 9th annual Triangle Pen Show in Raleigh, North Carolina. They've actually got a really good website. They're going to have auctions, seminars, and workshops. So if you're at all interested in going to that, definitely check out their website. We have it up on our Pen Shows page at the website, so you can find all the info there. And the next one that we'll be going to is Chicago, of course, May 3rd through the 6th.
That's this Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday. I can't believe how close it is.
Yeah, well, Dan and I are getting there. Dan and I will get there on Thursday, but I understand that the Edison Pen Company will not make an appearance until Friday.
Yeah,
correct. We had some babysitter issues. My parents, who normally would take Andrew for this show, they are not available, unfortunately. So we have to drop off Andrew at school early Friday morning, and then we'll head out. So we'll be in Chicago. I'm going to guess around 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock, and then we probably won't set up on Friday. Did I say Thursday? We're leaving Friday morning. We'll get there Friday, probably after lunch, and then we probably won't bother setting up, but we'll walk around and socialize, and if anybody wants to see our stuff, I'll probably maybe have it with my luggage, or I'll have it, kind of at my table and all that. So,
cool. It kind of gives you a free Friday. We can get into trouble.
Well, it's on one hand, there may be some sales that we miss out on, but on the other hand, sometimes it's nice to not be bound to a table and get to walk around a show. So it's not what we wanted to do. We prefer to get there Thursday and then have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do our thing, but just not possible this time.
Yeah.
So do we know who's going to be at the Pen Show?
I'm going to be at the Pen Show. So
okay. As far as vendors?
Fountain Pen Geeks is going to be at the Pen Show. Edison Pen Company is going to be at the Pen Show. Anderson Pens will be at the Pen Show.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. But I'm sure that Susan Worth is going to be at the Pen Show.
I don't think there's a show that Susan Worth misses.
Right. I think you're right.
I can tell you that Richard Binder generally does not get to Chicago.
He wasn't there the last time I was. The one time I was there.
John Modeshaw is off and on.
He's not coming.
Sometimes he
I've
comes.
spoken with him.
Not.
He won't be there.
All right.
Bert Osser of Bertram's Inkwell, he will be there.
Yes.
Okay. The last time I was there, the only time I was there, Mike Masuyama was there. Is he there?
He will be there this year, yes.
Pendleton Brown will be there.
I hope so.
No, it's
I don't
definite.
know for sure,
He's giving a seminar.
Okay.
Joel Hamilton and Cheryl Tyree of the Ink Pen Vintage Fountain Pen Repair, they will be there. Franklin Christoph will be there, but other than that,
Are you sure? I don't think that Franklin Christoph will be there.
In Chicago? They won't be in Chicago? No, I haven't spoken to Scott personally, so I can't.
Actually, I know that they will not.
Okay.
Unless I've got bad information, I spoke with Dan Simons, who you might know is kind of the West Coast contingency of Franklin Christoph, and Dan might be there, but he's going to incorporate it into a business trip, and I'm sure that if Scott would have been there, Scott with Franklin Christoph, Dan would have mentioned it. So I'm 99% sure no Franklin Christoph at that show.
That's a shame. I was planning to spend some time at their table. Anyway, Friday night is their auction. Dan, I did finally go and look at the auction pages at the Chicago Pen Show's website.
Yeah, they got a few items in their catalog.
98 lots.
Not too bad.
A couple of lots are sets, but that's a lot of items.
Yeah,
now,
it is.
you guys, have you guys ever been to the Chicago auction or no?
No.
Okay, you'll enjoy it. It's definitely interesting.
You know, the one thing I did notice, and this is probably how all auctions are run, but I didn't like it. If you're selling a pen in the auction, you get to pay the auction people 10% of the sales price, which I guess is the fee for selling it. But there's also a 10% buyer's premium. So if you buy something, you get to also pay 10% of the purchase fee. I imagine that's how all auctions are run, but
Really?
I don't know.
Well, I can't comment because I've never participated as a buyer. I've always just kind of sat in awe of some of these pens that I wish that I could have been a buyer of, if that's proper grammar. But regardless, I have no idea. But I can tell you this: my dad is a big collector of antique cars, and 10% on the buyer and 10% on the seller is actually probably quite negotiable compared to what he's used to.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly how that works, to be honest with you.
Well, when I saw it, well, at first I didn't like it, and then I thought, that's probably, just standard in auction industry. Is there's some sort of a buyer's premium and some sort of a seller's premium and so forth and so on. But I do want to see it. Is it a fast-paced auction? Where the auctioneer sounds like an auctioneer, or is it just...
No.
Okay.
They don't go out and hire a true auctioneer to get everybody fired up and do everything.
Really? And they still want
fast
our 10%?
Well, I guess they're not earning it, but they're still getting it. I'm just joking, but when I was there, it wasn't anything crazy like like a professional auctioneer. It was just more relaxed and going back. And Brian Anderson is commenting that the Chicago auction is awesome. Brian, can you comment? Is there a 10% seller and buyer premium that goes with those auctions? We'll wait for his comment.
Yeah, while we wait. Saturday, they're going to have workshops by Susan Worth, Joel Hamilton, and Pendleton Brown. And then Sunday is the PCA's Pens for Kids program hosted by Lisa Anderson.
Speaking of the Andersons.
Very cool.
They're going to have a packed schedule. It's plenty to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian Anderson.
Yeah, Brian did respond. He said, yes, 10% both ways. Seems to be the norm, as in Raleigh and Columbus. So, basically, there's 3 pen shows that have auctions: Raleigh, Columbus, and Chicago. And it sounds like all of them have 10% going both ways. So let's just call that industry standard.
We'll
How's
call
that?
it industry standard, and when we're off the air, I shall complain about it profusely. But right after the Chicago Pen Show, there's Camp Edison. Now, we've talked about Camp Edison.
I cannot wait for this.
Brian, how many care packages have arrived for Fountain Pen Geeks?
You know what? I haven't been to the post office since about Wednesday of last week, so maybe there's something waiting for you.
Packed, huh?
But nothing has arrived on behalf of you or Dan coming to Camp Edison.
I don't know about that. He's probably stealing our packages, don't you think, Dan?
That's what I would bet.
So after the Chicago Pen Show, we head over to Milan. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Somebody did send a Jade Loimanchet. And I just decided that you guys will never see it. It just went right to my safe.
But you're going to tell us about it.
Absolutely.
So the idea is that we leave the Chicago Pen Show and we head over to Milan, Ohio, world headquarters of the Edison Pen Company. And so, Brian, Camp Edison, what's on our schedule of activities? What have we got?
The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to roast some marshmallows.
All right.
Have a little campfire set up. My son knows a lot of camp songs that he would like to share with you guys. Just kidding, of course. We're going to get into. We're going to leave Sunday night. Usually, with the Chicago show, we leave Sunday. It's only a 5-hour drive for us, which is not ridiculous. And with people babysitting Andrew, we like to get back at a decent time so that we don't have to bug our family and our friends or whoever is watching him to get him to school Monday morning. So we haul butt back after the show, even though it makes a really long day, and then we'll probably get in at like 10 or 11 o'clock. And then the next day, whoever gets up first is going to get yelled at to go back to sleep, and then we'll start our day whenever. So the agenda is basically we're going to go out to the shop, and we're going to do whatever you guys want to do.
Okay, so you're going to give us a tour of the foundry, or you're going to put us to work in the salt mine?
if you guys can hold sandpaper, I'm going to stick a couple of lathes in front of you, and you can sand and polish to your heart's content. I pay a full $3.50 an hour.
$3.50 an hour, and we're talking U.S. dollars, right?
U.S. dollars. You're right.
Wow.
Yes.
And are you going to let us watch you make a pen, or better yet, are you maybe going to help us make a pen?
Like I said, the agenda is to be determined by the Fountain Pen Geeks. I am at your disposal. We can make pens. We can do whatever you want. And since you're making the trip, I think there's no reason why you guys can't leave with a couple of Edison pens.
He said a couple. All right, now,
Fantastic.
Don't take this the wrong way, Brian, but I have to know. Are you going to let us fondle your secret stash?
Now, wait a second.
Hey, now, I don't know if I want to be a part of this conversation.
You want to keep your clean rating on iTunes or what?
You just said but. Haul butt, you said. And I just said it twice again.
Yes, there is a secret stash, and however, that stash is pen materials, and you guys can fondle that all that you want to. If that's the word that you want to use, then feel free. Yeah, for those that don't know, I do have a little stash of stuff that I don't necessarily always advertise, and like if I get my hands on something that's rare, something that's interesting, something that is super cool, it kind of goes to my secret stash. And you have to be a very special person to get access to that stash. So,
okay, but Dan and I are going to take inventory and probably post it to the website.
No, actually, I'm joking around. There is a spot in the shop where I keep stuff that I think is rather special, and it's in its own little spot. And if anybody ever emails me and says, hey, do you have some original Schaefer Sebloplast? Yes, I do. Here it is, and here's what I have. It's not a secret. It's just that,
And it's $50,000.
Yes.
So it's not
the
a secret.
pen will cost you $5 million.
Now, see, that one I get. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You're trying to fool me, but I got that one. All right.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go full speed with the references just to see which ones you will not get.
Well, I could just play dumb. That's easy for me to do.
Did you see Pulp Fiction yet, by the way?
No, you said you were going to loan me your copy.
All right, that's what we're doing one of the nights when we get here.
Yeah.
Beer and Pulp Fiction.
Beer and Pulp Fiction. Hey, we had a poll question that was rather popular this week.
Yes.
And I'll read you how it turned out in the end. The question was, is there a price point at which a fountain pen must have a gold nib? And let's see. As of right now, we have 242 responders to that.
Not bad.
That's a lot of responses.
That's a lot of responses. It was a popular question. 28% of the responders, the voters, said that a gold nib is never absolutely necessary, which of course left 70 some odd percent who think it's at least necessary at some time. 45% said that anything over $200 should have a gold nib. Well, this is just currently. It might change by tomorrow. 17% said anything over $300, 6% said anything over $400, and 3% said anything over $500. So if you group all 200, 300, 400, 500, anybody above what? How am I trying to say that, Dan? 71% say that anything over $500 should have a gold nib, because the $200 people automatically fit into the $500 group.
71% say any pen
over $500.
Yes, over $500 needs a gold nib.
That's correct.
And so 62% would say that anything over $300.
Yeah,
what did you vote, Dan? I don't have to ask.
I voted for
Brian. I know what Brian voted.
That a gold nib is never absolutely necessary.
So you agreed with Mr. Brian Gray. This was a tough one. Because I was leaning towards that, but I eventually decided to vote for any pen over $300.
And what's my vote that you think you know?
I'm sure. Positive. You don't even have to verify. You voted exactly what Dan did. That a gold nib is not never absolutely necessary.
I'll say, though, I mean, if the way that this is worded is never absolutely necessary, I don't know that I agree 100% with that, but that's the vote that I gravitated the most. If I'm going to spend, let's say, $1,000 on a beautiful Mach-E Donnie Trio, which maybe that wouldn't even be 1,000, it might be up in the 3,000 or 4,000, or a Urushi Nakaya, or a Hakumen Urushi pen, anything along those lines. If I'm going to spend $1,000 on that pen, and I could get it for $900 with a steel nib, I'd probably still do the 1,000 and get the gold nib. So I'm not going to say that in every case I'm going to put a steel nib on a pen, but if the gold nib option, and keep in mind those pens that I'm talking about, there's usually not even a steel nib option anyway.
No,
those high-end pens. But if the option existed, and the difference of having that gold nib is only 10% or so of the total cost, I'd probably do it. But in cases where literally the gold nib option could be a 50% difference in the cost of the total cost, I'm definitely going with a steel nib, and 30%, 20%, I'm probably still going to go with a gold nib. So in some cases, if I'm actually going to spend 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 on a pen, I'd probably put the extra 10, 5, 3%
This is
into
all
a
very
gold nib.
hypothetical.
Very hypothetical. I've never.
No,
spent
I didn't
more
think
than-
it was going to be this complicated, man.
Hey, I put a lot of thought into this now, because I think I might get labeled as a steel snob, and I want to make
steel
sure
snob.
as I'm waggling my finger again.
Well, it wouldn't be
I just call it practical.
Actually, I think that just like we wear the term geek with a badge of honor, I think if somebody called me a steel snob, I would probably wear that with a badge of honor as well.
I don't know if it's possible to be a steel snob.
I would think so.
Well, are you saying that steel nibs are better than gold nibs, or are you saying that they
no.
are equal to?
Well, anyone
can
that's
be-
read the
can be
article
equal
that's
to.
on my website, I just basically say, try a steel nib first. Always try a good steel nib first, and then decide if the extra cost of gold is really worth the extra cost. The price of gold has skyrocketed so much, and I've seen some threads around the forums lately where people are noticing a resurgence to steel nibs. I don't know if I should say resurgence, because I don't know if steel nibs really were super popular in vintage pens all the time. A lot of vintage pens certainly have gold. So I don't know that resurgence is the word, but I see a trend of pen manufacturers going towards steel nibs because the price of gold is so ridiculous right now. The cost to manufacture the cost to have a gold-equipped pen versus a steel-nibbed pen is crazy. So there is a trend of going back towards steel. If people don't utilize flex, I definitely recommend trying a steel nib. Give it a shot first. If you don't like it and the manufacturer offers the gold nib upgrade, then go for it. But like in my case, when people ask me that, that's the response I give them. And when they get their steel nibbed pen, I'm going to say that 98% never even discuss with me going to a gold nib. And then the ones that require flex, of course, we probably had that discussion before they even considered a steel nibbed pen. So anyways, that might have been a long drawn out answer, but I say try steel first and then go to gold. My personal preference, though, I'm not saying that that's the end all be all, or that I'm correct.
Mr. Gray. You know you do.
Come on.
We don't have anything worked out yet for the next poll question, but I'm sure we'll think up something very good. Mr. Smith, what have you got for us this week?
Well, we started things off this week with some good news from ChartPack. We had a user in our forum that goes by Fountain Pen Kid. He was watching our show one night, and his dog decided to use his Pelican M400 as a chew toy. And he posted pictures of it in our forums, and man...
So wait a minute.
This dog destroyed the pen.
You mean to tell me that our show, and you mean our podcast, our show, was so riveting that Fountain Pen Kid did not notice his dog was chewing on his Pelican M400?
That's the way I'm taking it.
Well, that must have been a show that we had Brian Gray on, right?
Yeah. So anyways, the dog pulled the piston knob off the pen, chewed up a little bit of the barrel and the exposed piston part of it, and Fountain Pen Kid was just hoping that he could buy a piston unit, just to replace his pen. Well, he sent the pen in, and I don't know, about 5 or 6 weeks later, I think, he got a package back, and ChartPack completely replaced it with a brand new pen, but they kept his original nib, of course.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
I mean, unreal.
That is amazing. They certainly didn't
all
have to do
all
that.
that he paid. Was it just a clean exchange? Or
yeah, pretty much.
Did he pay a repair?
No, I don't even think he paid for shipping.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So I had
it's
a problem
pretty crazy.
with an Aurora pen once that you remember, Dan, and I had to
I
send
do.
it, and it was repaired for free, but I had to pay the I think there was a $35 fee that they just charge everybody $35. Just let me look at your pen, pay me $35, and they fixed it. So I don't know if ChartPack did that or didn't do that, but that they replaced a pen completely that had been used as a chew toy by the dog. That's amazing.
So I'm
Now wait a second,
curious,
guys. But before we jump into this, I have one comment here. I'm looking at the photo. Now this was Fountain Pen Kid, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now my keen eye of pen forensics
Gosh, here it comes.
tells me that this is not a dog. A dog did not do this. All right.
Waggling
Clearly, I think that Fountain Pen Kid was just overly stressed out.
No, he's so excited watching the show in which you were making a soliloquy.
He was so excited to watch another Fountain Pen Geeks radio broadcast that the next thing he knew, he looked down and he had chewed his pen to that much
Your
damage.
canine forensics.
No, my keen eye.
Oh,
for
I'm sorry.
pen
I thought you
forensics.
said canine
Sorry,
forensics.
Not canine. My keen eye for Fountain Pen Forensics. Of course, that's a joke. I'm just trying to be funny, everybody. That's
was
clearly,
that a joke?
I
We
would
didn't
say,
get that. Mr. You're going to have
I
to be
would say
clear
that's-
about these things.
clearly that's a Pomeranian. Definitely.
Fairly.
I was
How'd you
I was
know?
going with Chihuahua, but that's a Pomeranian.
You can tell by the
So
overbite, right?
I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
Now I don't know if we could expect this kind of customer service, from every incident, but clearly they're taking care of their customers. Would that push you to pick a Pelican over another pen if you were kind of on the fence between two pens?
If I was on the fence between two pens and I liked them both equally, but I knew that the pen on my right had excellent customer service behind it, yes, that would push me over the edge.
I agree 100%.
But that's
that's
assuming that the two pens are equal, and there's usually one that you're leaning towards anyway. But in that situation,
so.
if they were both equal in my mind, then yes, especially if the other company had a reputation for poor customer service, which of course I can't think of anybody
absolutely.
who has that.
Yeah, if a company has poor customer service, that will actually steer me
Right,
away
I
from
wouldn't even
them.
be looking at their pens in the first place. But speaking of good-looking pens, and I think somebody said good-looking pens. Now, we're going to go away here for a second, because I have to bring this up full screen, because I could not get this... I'm speaking,
Awesome,
of course,
yes.
only to the people watching this in video. I had to bring this next slide up in full screen.
The Visconti Van Gogh collection. They've got 3 pens out right now, but you can have all 12 today for only $2,400 for the set.
Wow.
It comes with that case that you see there.
Describe the case
the pens.
for our audio-only people. It's sort
Well,
of a clear
all right,
top
it's-
wood. Is that burl wood, would you call it?
I don't know what type of wood, but yeah, it has that burl wood look to it. It has a small picture of a painting next to each pen that pen is inspired from or supposed to represent.
Well, I think they stole the colors from the... Stole. Did you hear me say steal? They were inspired by the colors of these paintings for the colors of each pen. And they pretty
Right.
much match. They do a good
Yeah,
job.
they do. It looks really good. And the case comes with the pens. They say you get it for free, but I mean,
Yeah, free when you buy the pen. Well, what do they go for? This is like $200 per pen. Isn't that what they're going for, even if you just buy one?
yeah, something like that. I mean, because the whole set of 12 is $2,400. Each pen has a steel nib, medium width only, and they're all cartridge converter
I thought
fillers.
they were all pistons.
No, unfortunately not.
$2,400 for a cartridge converters? Nah, I
For
guess
12
I'm
of
giving
them.
you a hard time.
But
I think they're pretty.
The big advantage of this is who knows how long it's going to take Visconti to release the other 9 pens. I mean, it could be a couple years before all 12 are out, but now you get them all right away. So it'd be a pretty cool collection to have, and that case would be something
I really like
nice
it.
to
I like the look of it. I've always had my eye on one of these Van Gogh pens, but I haven't pulled the trigger just yet. But I don't know what I would do with 12 of them.
Well, obviously they would just stay in this case.
Yeah, this would be
You could
a collector
pick
thing.
one out for each month of the year.
Now, see, I hadn't thought of that. I don't know why. Now, I guess I have to get one.
If you think about it, seriously, it's $200 per pen with a wonderful, and by the way, my keen eye for wood forensics tells me that is definitely burled walnut, without a doubt.
Burled walnut, and it even has looks to me like the key is a little miniature skeleton key, so it's lockable even. This is something you could actually just hang on the wall. It looks like a frame, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what I would really want is a different nib in each one of those 12 pens.
Well, of course.
Then you could call it the Van Gogh testing set. Anyway, moving along.
But I do have a question.
Oh,
I do have a question. I'm
we
sorry.
have the answers.
Are these just like a swirled type of acrylic that kind of matches the colors in the painting, or are these pens actually painted? I don't think they're painted.
They're not
are
painted.
they? No, okay, so they just found like a swirly acrylic that resembles.
They're plastic pens.
You know,
what do you want?
The Van Goghs. I know. I just, if the theme is painting and we're going with a painter and they're all inspired by a painting, I was wondering if these were painted,
well, then that would
or
kind of sort of be maquillé, and each one would go for $2,400.
Well, I mean, technically, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that it's either Urushi or maquillé. Actually, the literal translation is painting. So, anyways, off to another topic.
Urushi is a lacquer, and maquillé is sprinkled picture, I think. We're going to have to call Ernest, but I think that's what he said in his Geek of the Week interview. Sprinkled picture, something like that. Anyway, talking about very, very beautiful pens. Hit me up with
next
this one.
And it's called the Architect, and it's made by Jack Rowe. Now, this pen has actually been out for a while, but I just now found it, and I liked it so much I had to show it off. If you've never heard of Jack Rowe, Brian? I'm going to write down my I'm going to write down my prediction right now, and then I'll show it to you later. Okay? Go ahead. All right. So, Jack Rowe, he's a 27-year-old goldsmith who graduated with first-class honors degree from Birmingham Institute of Art and Design.
In England, in the UK.
Yes. Now remember, he's only 27 years old. He's earned multiple prestigious awards for his designs, and he designs all his pens with 3D modeling software, and then he uses lost wax casting to bring them to life. Now, this is a very old-school method of casting, and it's you can get very high detail in your castings with this method. And then, he uses gold and precious stones and all that. This pen was inspired by London's gherkin. Does you guys know what that is?
Well, the way you said it sounds like a pickle. But you mean the building, right?
Did I say it wrong?
No. I'm sure that's correct. But you mean the building, right?
Yes. Well, what did you think I was talking about?
Well, I don't know. You just said gherkin. You say somebody says gherkin, the first thing I think about is a pickle.
That's so weird. Anyways, this pen, it's offered in 3 different versions. There's a sterling silver with black diamonds that's limited to 888 pieces, and it goes for $10,360. There's a 18K yellow gold with sapphires limited to only 88 pieces, and that sells for $34,325. And then an 18K white gold with diamonds that's limited to 88 pieces, and it sells for $38,890. And then each pen comes with an 18K gold nib, and it's a CC filler. So
it's not a piston filler.
It's not a piston filler.
Does it post?
I doubt it.
Oh, well, I want the one with the sapphires.
That's the one I like the best. But
I think
one thing I've got to say is, even if you aren't interested in this pen or the design that much, please go to his website and check it out, because his website is so informative. It's so well done. It's very polished. Every pen company should model their website after this, because he goes into details of his workshop, how he creates these pens. I mean, there's so much just cool information there that you could spend several hours there easily.
Well, I spent probably a little more than an hour there today. This is obviously a pen that I can't afford, but the website is great just to spend some time at and read all the stuff that he's got there. Fascinating information.
Did you guys read your comment section on this pen?
I did,
recently?
yeah. Jack
Rowe himself
he
responded.
stopped by and left a lengthy comment.
And actually, he tweeted us too, saying thanks for the. He said thanks for the review, and I was thinking, well, send us a pen, we'll give you a review.
I was like, you should see our reviews.
But I thought that I was very impressed with, and I'm assuming it was Jack Rowe himself who commented on the website, because I hearkened back to. Do you remember all the coverage we gave to the Alfred Hitchcock pen from Mont Blanc?
I do.
I mean, we talked about that for a long time. We made our listeners call Mont Blanc and get pricing information. Did anybody from Mont Blanc ever say, hey, thanks? No.
No, not at all.
So, good for you, Jack. Thank you. Mr. Brian Gray has been sitting there very patiently, waiting his turn. Hit us with whatever you got there, Brian.
Well, first of all, Dan, what do you think about this pen overall? Price aside, I mean, I think it's probably priced appropriately, quite honestly. But if price is no issue, what do you think about this pen?
I love it. I am absolutely awestruck by the design of this pen. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It's amazing.
I agree 100%. I love this pen. I think that is incredibly cool. Now, Eric,
yes.
What do you think about this pen?
I think it's an amazingly beautiful piece of jewelry. I love the pen. I don't know if it's extremely functional. I mean, if we're talking about using it as a fountain pen, but I do love the look of it. It's beautiful.
What about it do you think is not that functional?
I think you're gonna
or not as functional.
It has a metal section. Is that what you want me to say? Is that what you wrote down on your piece?
No.
I think the grip where you hold the pen. There are more pictures at the website than the one you're looking at right now. The section where your fingers would be looks thin, but it could just be the picture. I don't know actually.
Well, that's a number 6 nib.
Oh, so that's not too thin.
I don't think that's very thin. All right, here was my prediction, and I don't know if you can agree with this. Eric loves this pen except for the cartridge converter fill. I thought for sure that this would be a shape and a design that you would go like, that is awesome.
It is
but
awesome.
It sounds like you're giving it like an 8 out of 10.
Actually, you're going to put me on the spot there. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. If he could have made this a piston filler, it would have been the world's perfect pen.
Okay. Well, then this was correct. Eric loves the pen except for the CC, this cartridge converter.
Right.
I was right then. I'm just going to say it.
You were right.
I'm just going to exclaim that I was
always right
with my prediction.
And going back to, we were talking about the pricing, the Sapphire one that I happen to like, and Dan, I think you said you liked it. It's $34,000. I think it's priced correctly.
Yes.
What about the Alfred Hitchcock limited edition of 88 pens? I think it was 88 as well. What was the price on that? $27,700?
Yeah, something like that.
Did it? Oh, maybe it had rubies or something. I don't know. But
it had a combination of like.
I think this one is has more bling.
Well, this is certainly more intricate, and there's a lot more to it. Like each one is pretty much hand finished and handmade. I mean,
it's beautiful. I would like to see one in real life.
Well, remember what we said about the price of gold causing nibs to go to a crazy price. Well, that's exactly what's happening here, I guarantee, because a lot of that is, you're looking at 18-karat yellow gold with sapphires, 18-karat white gold with diamonds. You hate to say it because, my gosh, you could buy a pretty decent mid-sized luxury car for what you could, well, maybe not a luxury car, but a decent mid-sized sedan for what, these pens would go. But, honestly, I love this design. I think it is phenomenal. Some people might look at this and wonder how the step from, like, if I'm envisioning how this pen is going to unscrew, and when you take the cap off, there's going to be this step going from the barrel down to the threads and down to the grip section. But look at how long he made the grip section. That tells me that my fingers are not going to bump anything. I'm not going to feel like a raised edge. I'm not going to feel the threads. And of course, you never know this until you hold a pen. But when you guys put this up, I also was awestruck. I love this design. I think it's fantastic. And the fact that Jack Rowe himself got in on this thread, as a fellow pen maker, I can tell you that it means a lot to people when you get involved and when you get into a thread and you tweet them and you say this. So we already touched on this. I think it means a lot when a craftsman or an artisan like that takes the time to visit our little, or I should say your little, blog on the web, and make a comment. I think that's really cool.
It does. It says a lot about him as a person.
If I was a multimillionaire pen collector, this would be at the top of my list over like really ornate Montegrappas, really ornate Mont Blanc.
If you want to talk about that, I don't know what is the price of that Chaos.
Well, no. I'm not going to say Chaos because I'm sorry.
You said ornate, and I'm sure there are people who think that's ornate. This is.
Well, what about the Alchemist fountain pen they just released?
The $100,000 pen?
Yeah, I mean the solid gold one. Like that. There's nothing special about that to me. The design and the work that goes into it. I don't know. I think some people don't appreciate that, and they just see this gold pen, this flash, and $35,000, and like, oh no, this is terrible. This isn't a fountain pen. It's like, give him a little credit for what he's creating here.
Yeah, this is a fountain pen. It's one that I can't afford, but I think it's beautiful.
And you know what's really cool as well? I swear, and this is what I think would be intriguing. If you saw this on someone's desk, I don't know that the first thing that I would think of is that's a pen.
No, I wouldn't.
No,
which
not
I
at
think
all.
is intriguing. I would think.
I would think it's like
a
scepter. Like, where's the dude's crown? I mean,
yeah. He must be a Harry Potter fan, right?
Yeah, a magic wand or something. It's a very, very nice pen.
I know we've spent a lot of time on this, but honestly, this is one of the coolest pens I've seen in a long time. I like this a lot.
I do too.
I'd love to see one live. All right.
Maybe we can all take up a collection. We could get so much from everybody who's listening, and we can all keep it for one day a year.
10% down payment on it.
we could put Andrew through college, or we could buy a pen.
True.
Pen, duh.
Or we could go to.
Duh. Who would put my kid through college when we could buy a pen?
But speaking of a pen, we could actually afford. TWSBI has released their VAC 700, and it is now available. You can go buy it in smoke, amber, and sapphire.
It's not just available. I have one in my hand.
So do I. I've got it too. The 4 nibs available: extra fine, fine, medium, and broad. Stubs and cursive italics are supposed to be available in probably a couple of months. The clear, approximately same time frame. No firm dates have been set. Only $85 plus shipping. I saw this go live, what was it, Friday morning, about 7 minutes after they posted it on Facebook. I immediately ordered mine and then put it on our website.
You guys have yours yet?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I've got mine.
Got it.
Oh, you do?
Right.
Bring it to Chicago, please. I'd love to see it.
Oh,
no, I'm going to leave it at home.
We're going to leave them at home.
I was going to say.
Plus, Brian Anderson will have some in Chicago because he's a
excellent
TWSBI retailer. I don't want to get into a full review of this pen, but do you have any off the top of your head thoughts, Dan?
It's freaking awesome.
Okay.
That's really all you need to know. I mean, just go buy it. I mean,
I'm just for a moment while we're talking about this pen. Let me go back to where people can actually see us.
So, Dan, what's your review?
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome,
Well, see,
and then 5 seconds of silence.
That's why.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. What else? What else can you say?
No, it's perfect. I mean,
it's a modern vacuum filling pen for under $100. I mean, what's the next closest? Pilot's Custom 823, maybe a Visconti. What, for $300? You might be able to get a.
Your point is that because it's a vacuum filling pen, it's awesome, and not only that, it's an affordable vacuum filling pen.
Well, yeah, that and you got TWSBI's reputation. They bumped the nib up to a number 6 size.
I do like the size of the nib. No, it's the same size as the Micarta.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. But I will,
since
you're giving it such high praise, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to do the whole awesome review right here, impromptu like. But of all the TWSBIs that are available on the market right now, this is my least favorite.
Really? See, I want to see one live because I think that an inexpensive vacuum filler is. I'll probably be in the exact same camp as Dan, and I'll just say it's freaking awesome, based on the fact that first of all, vacuum fillers are super cool, and especially if you've got a demonstrator type vacuum where you can watch it fill.
Well, I do admit that is cool.
yeah, just the simple physics as to how vacuum fillers work is kind of fascinating to begin with. So to get one for around $85, Mr. Anderson, if you could maybe reserve one for me, maybe I'd look at one while I'm at the Chicago show too.
Now you have to choose a color and a nib size.
Color and nib size doesn't. Well, okay, I'll take a broad, and I guess that my choice would probably be that smoke.
Yeah, I had a tough time choosing between the sapphire and the smoke, but I did go for the sapphire.
You happy with that?
I am. I really like it. I may end up picking up a smoke just because I don't have one. I don't know what it looks like, and I just really like that color.
Do you have an amber of the 540?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
So you had mentioned this was actually the least favorite of the TWSBIs. This would be a close call between this and the Micarta. I like both of those way more than the 540. It's just the feel of that Micarta. I like it. I enjoy it so much, but man, the size of this pen and the vacuum filling system is just so cool.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
I've had this pen for 24 hours. And we're talking about it already, so I didn't really want to do a whole review. I'm just saying that my first impression out of the box and using it was that I like my other TWSBIs more. Not that I don't like this pen.
I got a question for you. How was your nib out of the box?
Well, as usual, I washed the pen first in very dilute soap and then cleaned it with water, filled the pen with ink. A fantastic nib out of the box.
See, I never wash the nib. I never touch them. They go straight into an ink bottle and then to paper. And if you guys didn't read my Micarta review, the two nibs I got on those were junk. One was completely unusable. The other was really dry. This pen, out of the box, fine nib, superb. I mean, it was like a dream. It was smooth. The flow was just a tad on the wet side. I loved it. I can't praise him enough for that nib.
No, my nib is perfect. I got the broad, and it's just a little bit to the wet side, and that's what I like. And
Dan, I'm just curious, what did you do with your Micarta and your 40 nib? I assume you probably have enough skill to fix it on your own, right? Or did you live with it? Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I adjusted them after the review.
Got it.
So moving on to our showstopper.
Mm-hmm.
And I call this the showstopper because this particular post got huge traffic. People seem to be interested in looking in other people's pen cases. And this post was Ernest Shin. I don't know if you know him, Mr. Gray, Ernest Shin.
I've heard of that guy. Yes.
I sent him an email and asked him if he was carrying pens, and he said, psh. And I said, well, can you just snap some pictures and send them to me? And he did, and we got the whole list right there.
I have seen, I think, every one of those pens live, one point or another. I'm pretty sure I have seen all those, yes.
I think I saw all of these pens in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. I think he had all those at LA. Now, didn't he acquire that vintage Vanishing Point at the LA Pen Show?
I'm not sure if he got it at the show.
Might have. I'm not sure. I'm not positive. Boy, that navy pinstripe pen looks good. I'm sure someone here would agree with that.
I happen to like navy, yeah. In fact, I was looking for a pearlette, but you didn't have another one. He had the one.
Yeah, he stole the one that you were looking at? Yeah.
So he has a Schaefer Touchdown in Rodden. That, of course, he did the artwork on that. An Edison Pearl Limited Edition in Karanuri, which again was his artwork. And that was a limited edition was that the first of all limited editions?
That was our first collaboration.
Right, first collaboration.
That was, I think, 2 summers ago. No, it's going to be 3 summers ago. That was kind of where Ernest and I started, and that was one of the best. I don't know if you guys know this. Whenever Ernest and I do a limited edition, we do 20, but actually that's incorrect, we make 22. I get 1 artist proof, and Ernest gets 1 artist proof. So I do have my awesome copy of that pen here at the shop as well.
Right, because Ernest is never going to get rid of his, but maybe we can I was going to say talk you out of yours, but what I mean is steal yours.
I'll trade you for Jack Rowe.
Oh, okay. All right. He's also, speaking of Edison, he's got an Edison Mina extended in Ki Tamenuri. Now, this is a pen that he had at the LA Pen Show, and he told himself, and I didn't know this till after the show, but he told himself if it didn't sell at the show, he was going to keep it because he liked it so much. And it almost sold, except I ordered a custom pen with the Ki Tamenuri.
So you were seriously
Oh yeah,
contemplating
that was the pen I really
the
liked.
Mina right
But
there?
instead I got a jumbo Mina, but it's going to have the same treatment on it.
Very cool.
And he's got the Edison Pearlette and the navy stripe, and I ordered something from you at the LA Pen Show in navy stripe, if I recall.
You did. That's why I was joking around and asking if someone here liked navy stripe acrylic.
He's got the Pilot Capless 1974 aluminum steel, a Pilot Custom 823. Who knows about that pen? What is a Pilot Custom 823?
That's their vacuum filling.
That's their vacuum filling. He's got a Kaweco Elite from the 1930s, which is, I believe, the only piston filling pen that he has in his daily carry of this day. And he's got a Kaweco Sport from the 1940s. Although, how did that thing fill?
I think that's a cartridge converter, but maybe Brian Anderson knows.
In the 40s?
Well, good point. That might be an eyedropper.
Brian,
I was say eyedropper. How does the 1940s Kaweco Sport fill? If Brian Anderson is listening,
he fell asleep a long time ago.
Nonsense.
He fell asleep when I was extolling the virtues of Jack Rowe, right?
Anyway, Brian will get back to us on that 1940s Kaweco Sport.
Brian says don't know, actually.
All right, we'll have to ask Ernest. We'll ask Ernest.
But Fountain Pen Kid did say an eyedropper, with a question mark, though. So,
well, it would be my guess that it's an eyedropper.
I'll tell you what, let's make that next week's poll. Just make it a vote.
Poll can't be something answered by Google.
Well, of course. Whichever category gets the most votes, that's what it is.
Don't look it up. Just guess. All right, we're going back to the mailbag. We had already mentioned Brett's email. We got a snail mail something or other this week. Did I skip something, Dan? Are we okay?
Yeah,
okay,
we're good to go.
We got a postcard from Sarah and Will, and if I'm not mistaken, Will is Fountain Pen Kid, who is in our audience right now, and who we talked about with the chart pack and everything. Sarah called in for our Geek Challenge a couple of weeks ago and won those postcards, and so they sent us a thank you on one of the postcards that they won. So I want to say thank you for the postcard that thanked us, or something like that. What's going on in the forum there, Mr. Smith?
We got a really cool thread started by Crazy Ivan.
Oh, is he in the news again? He did the Lilliput review last week, and in fact, don't mean to interrupt you, but the Lilliput review, he's giving away that pen, and I think I think he announces the winner tomorrow.
Very cool.
Anyway,
Crazy Ivan, he's very active in the forums. He comments at the website and everything. He started a thread called "What's in your bag" or "What's your EDC bag?" Your everyday carry bag. And he posts pictures of his backpacks and how he carries them, and his pen cases, and his pens and knives. And I just thought it was a really cool thread to show how people carry all their gear, because I carry a lot of stuff with me every day, and I carry it in a Titleist backpack. Now, if you're not familiar with Titleist, they're a company that makes golf clubs and golf balls and all kinds of golf stuff. And I carry my laptop, 2 20-pin cases in there, my HP touchpad, a couple pads of paper, all my chargers, basically everything I would need to survive if, the apocalypse happened or something. I don't know. But so I thought it was a cool thread. Just post pictures of your gear.
I imagine it is a cool thread. As people are what you posted Speedy's daily carry, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And then Ernest Shin shared his daily carry. And these are such popular posts that I'm sure this one is also popular. But mine wouldn't be very interesting. I carry a cup of coffee.
But you never leave the house, so
maybe you should, instead of daily carry, maybe you should make it a little bit broader and just say daily arsenal, because I have an arsenal of pens, but they don't get really carried anywhere.
Oh, yeah, you're on my list.
Usually,
I want a picture of those.
Oh, okay. Well, call it the daily arsenal then, because I really don't take my pens with me very often. If we're out and about, usually my wife has she has a leather 4-pack, and I forget who made it. It's a leather 4-pack, and she carries her good pens with her, and if I need one, I usually grab one from her at the pen shows.
She had a Coeco at the pen show last time.
I bought her a Coeco at the LA Pen Show, but honestly, she didn't really fall in love with it, so that's on my desk right now.
Oh.
She has a very nice E. Faber that you guys have seen before.
Got from Greg Minuskin?
Yep, Greg Minuskin. And then she has a couple of Edisons, believe it or not. So I've done a little bit of specialty nib work. You know what? She says the pens are great, but the guy that makes them is a real jerk, so I don't know what to say.
I'm going to get a soundbite of her saying that. All right. Is it time for the Geek Challenge?
Yeah, I think
How
it's
many
time
people
to give
do we have
away.
people in the audience?
We do.
All right. Then, as per usual, I've got 3 true or false questions. The prize this week is Flame Red Platinum Mix-Free ink, courtesy of Luxury Brands. Brian Gray is with us today, so we'll do it the old-fashioned way, where I'll ask a question, true or false, and we'll get Brian's answer before the caller's answer, and the caller's answer will trump, of course. Somebody's calling me already. You can hang up. I haven't given the phone number yet. I did, and it looks like an Australian. Are there Australians in the chat?
Another time traveler.
Oh yeah, he or she already knows that I've announced the phone number. But now see, usually I have to wait and hope people will call. Okay, call me now. 909-647-5056. That's 909-647-5056. Whoever you were, just hit redial. And now we wait. And I never know what to do when we're waiting, because of course that was the only person that's going to call, and they're not going to call back. You're going to talk amongst yourselves? No, okay. It's the same person. Let's find out who this is.
I think it's Rocky.
Hello?
Well, he's already won one. I don't know if he can participate again.
Hey, how are we doing? Who's calling, please?
Not bad, thanks. It's Rocky.
Not bad, thanks, he says. It's Rocky. Rocky, where are you, Rocky?
Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, Australia. Well, we'll get you off the phone as quickly as possible. How's that sound? Oh, I didn't mean for you to hang up.
Yep.
All right. Geek Challenge question.
What did you say?
I said we'll try to get you off the phone. No, don't hang up. We'll try to get you off the phone as quickly as possible, because you are paying long distance charges, probably more than the ink.
Oh, no worries about that.
No worries about that.
Take your time.
Are you ready for the first question?
Yep.
Okay. True or false? Jack Rowe, in addition to creating beautiful fountain pens, is also the captain of the Black Pearl.
He's not. That's Jack Sparrow, right?
Oh, that's Jack Sparrow. Yes, Captain Jack Sparrow. All right, apparently we didn't need Brian Gray's help on that one.
That's perfectly fine. These things make me nervous anyway.
Question number 2. True or false? The nib on the TWSBI Back 700 is larger than the nib on the TWSBI Diamond 540. We're going to go to Brian Gray for that.
If I'm not mistaken, the TWSBI Vac 700 uses a number 6 nib, and the TWSBI Diamond 540 uses a number 5
Is
nib.
that how you say true at the Gray residence?
You know what? I've been known to draw stuff out a lot. You can ask Andrea about that.
Wow.
I'm going to agree with Brian.
So, do you want to repeat what he said, or you just want to say true or false?
No, just say true or false.
Just say true.
Just say true. All right. Yes, the TWSBI Vac 700's nib is larger than the... Yes, it's larger than the 540. Question number 3, and the one for the win. True or false? Ernest Shin's daily carry pens, as featured on our website last Friday, included a ballpoint pen from the Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills.
Oh,
That is false. Actually, I believe that was the Motel 6
It was a Motel 6 is what Brian's
in
saying.
Sheboygan.
All right, we have a winner with his last answer of hell no. Hell no, I think he said it twice, didn't he? Rocky, I'm going to let you off the phone.
Nice. Congrats, Rocky.
Congratulations, Rocky, and thank you for playing the Geek Challenge.
Good to talk to you again, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you again, too, sir. We'll be in touch.
Yep.
Okay.
Great to talk to you, Rocky. Have a good night.
Good evening.
Or
Have a good afternoon.
It can't be nighttime. Afternoon or good morning in Australia? I have no idea.
Good afternoon for them.
All right.
It's 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. All right. Well, that was fun. I rather like the Jack Rowe Black Pearl question.
That was a good question.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Any questions from our audience?
Well,
And while they're thinking
got,
about it,
time to ask.
I'm
so-
going to
I was
give
going to say, yeah, if anybody has questions, put it in the chat.
in the
There's
chat.
a little bit of delay, so
and
in the meantime, what is the plan for Camp Edison? We were joking about it.
I think we covered that.
but
we're going to get
I
We're
know,
going to get
but
a tour.
I said that you guys, or I'm at your disposal, so what do you guys want to do? What are we going to do?
Oh, we're going to keep you occupied while Dan and I run around with spy cams. I think
Someone is asking, are we coming back with any footage from Camp Edison?
absolutely. I mean,
That's the
that
plan.
is the plan. As a matter of fact, my friend from Mexico is flying in for the show and for Camp Edison just to be our personal paparazzi. So we should get lots of footage. Lots of
I
audio
think
footage.
that the fountain pen community will be really, really happy with a lot of things that will happen at Camp Edison.
Yeah, they should all come join us, huh?
That'd be all right.
Okay.
Feel free.
While we're thinking of more questions from our audience, let me just remind everyone how they can reach us.
There is a question.
All right.
Do you want me to address this now?
Yes.
It says Brian, but I'm not sure if this is directed at Anderson or if this is directed at me. So I'll answer it, and if Brian Anderson differs, let me know. Or if you want to put up an answer, feel free. It says, can shellac be put inside a pen's barrel to make a wood pen and eyedropper? I don't know that I would use shellac to seal up threads. Because shellac is pretty viscous and pretty thin.
I don't think
I'm
he
not
was asking
100
about sealing threads, though.
To make an eyedropper,
I
you
think-
would have to seal the threads.
Yeah, but I think he or she is talking about sealing the wood inside the barrel to make a chamber for the ink. I would use
got you.
urushi.
So what he's asking is, could he coat the inside of a
Right.
wooden pen
to make it ink proof.
with shellac to make it ink proof? Okay, and he's saying, yes, that's right. Okay, I gotcha. I don't see how that would not work. I think it'd be great. I think that what I would probably do, I think I'd probably just use a Q-tip and coat it maybe plenty of times.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that would happen. Basically shellac takes a while to cure when it's inside an enclosed space. So I guess that I would, if that's what you wanted to try, and you're making a wooden fountain pen, if I would use a Q-tip or something similar to get shellac deep inside there. I would coat it quite liberally.
Brian?
Liberally.
Brian,
Yes,
could you not just fill the pen with shellac and then empty it out?
it's not a bad idea
That
either.
would
because
certainly cover everything.
Yeah, fill it up with shellac and then dump it out. Well, hey, you know what? Just for that, you're making your own damn pen this weekend.
That's awesome.
No, I'm kidding. You know what, Eric? You're right. I got into this long explanation, and then you've got the cure right there. I think I
Fill
would
the
just
pen
fill it with
and dump
shellac,
it.
let it sit there for a while, and then dump it, and then probably do that 4 or 5 times. But I would probably wait a half hour in between each time, because shellac, when it's in enclosed spaces where it doesn't get a lot of air, takes a little bit longer to cure. So the answer is try it and report back. I'd love to know if it works.
Would it depend on the wood? Because I don't know anything about wood.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that even a wood that is really open-grained is still going to get filled by shellac.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is.
Cool. I'm going to tell people
Well,
how to
I
contact
was-
us while we think of other questions from the audience.
But I was joking about the make your own damn pen next week, but you might have to sweet talk me now, because now I'm going to have a bad attitude about it.
Okay, well, you can write to us by email, podcast@fpgeeks.com. You can call us, 415-685-GEEK, 415-685-4335. We are on Twitter, twitter.com/fpgeeks. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/fpgeeks. We have a website, surprise, fpgeeks.com. We have a forum, fpgeeks.com/forum. You can write to us, snail mail, Fountain Pen Geeks, P.O. Box 499, Highland, California, 92346. Any last questions? I don't know. You guys have to tell me because I don't watch the...
I'm not seeing any.
All right. Then I think it's time to wrap these up. So once again, please, everyone, don't write like Brian Gray.
Don't spell ink like Dan Smith.
And don't waste paper like Eric.
All right. So that's our show. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in Chicago.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Always appreciate it. Everybody have a good night.
You've been listening to Eric and Dan on Fountain Pen Radio, a weekly podcast produced by FPGeeks.com. Thanks for listening. But the fun is far from over, as the site is constantly buzzing with new content. So until next week, thanks for coming out. Good night.